Welcome back to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. I'm your host, Jill Wright, time management expert, also podcast host, quite obviously, speaker, etc. I am so excited to bring you today's episode. It is in line with the theme of this podcast, which is helping moms who are interested in growing their lives through ambitious goals or businesses or something in addition to being known as mom. Right? Today's guest is Katie Faloon-Drew. She's a leading habit change expert, a dynamic speaker, a wellness coach, best-selling author, workplace wellness virtuoso, mental illness survivor and thriver, and busy mom of two. With a master's in health psychology and over 20 years in wellness, Katie blends habit change science, coaching, and personal experience to help busy people create realistic, lasting habits that boost energy, authentic confidence, and well-being without burning out. So as you can see, we're very aligned. We also both live in Ottawa. So it was a real joy to get to chat with her today and bring her on the program. We are talking boundaries. We want to talk about why it's not actually a lack of energy or motivation that is causing women to feel like they're not as connected or healthy or confident as they want to be. It's actually boundaries. She explains how we can move from knowing what we should be doing for our mental and physical health to actually doing it, and a bit of the science between about how we can break free using habit change science. So I will step back and we will dive into the episode. Let's welcome Katie to the Grow Like a Mother podcast. Okay, Katie, welcome to the show. I'm really, really happy to have you here with me today. We feel like we know each other from an online world. We're both based in Ottawa. Just so happy. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I think we have, as we were discussing, like a lot that we want to cover and a short time to do it. So we can dive right in. One of the things that I really wanted to pick your brain on while I had you on the show is boundaries for moms. What really they can look like, why we need them. Let's kind of start with that conversation. And I'd love to hear your take on boundaries.
Sure. So as a habit change expert and a wellness coach, right? Like I'm helping women, most of which are moms, most of which are over 35, some over 30, but right? I'm helping them figure out how the heck they're gonna fit in the healthy habits. I'm a mom, I've got two boys. They both play competitive sport, been there, done that, right? Like they're 11 and 14 now. And so in order to even start thinking about healthy habits as moms, boundaries has to come into the conversation. There is absolutely no way we can start to prioritize ourselves unless we figure out how to create some healthy boundaries. Otherwise, we're just going to add more shame to the plate, more overwhelm, right? Well, I should do this. I should do this. I should do this. Well, yeah, guess what? We are moms. We get it. There are so many things that we should do. The list is never going to ever end. And so boundaries needs to be the first conversation in order to even think about being able to build and maintain healthy habits as a busy mom.
Yeah, because it sabotages us when we don't have these boundaries, right? Like we don't realize it because at least for me, I come at it from a place of like just really wanting to be there and to serve. And it's that people pleasing comes in for sure, but like it's a genuine want to give. And yet I'm self-sabotaging by not establishing boundaries for myself.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, what I had learned through my own mental health crash in my early 30s, when I was trying to do everything for my kids and my husband and my job and completely negating my own wellness, I was working out for the wrong reasons. Let's just be clear, right? Still trying to look good, wasn't actually doing healthy habits for the right reasons. What I had to learn by having a full mental breakdown and going off work and actually not being able to be there for my kids was, oh, wait a second, when I put myself last, my own mental health last, and to a certain extent, my own physical health last, I can't even show up as the mom I want to be. And so this is the conversation that often happens with moms is we are being told by society that like be there for every second, like be there, drive them to every practice, be at every moment. Like this is all about giving, giving, giving. And I'm not saying don't be there at every second, but I'm saying if you're doing that at the detriment to your own mental health first, physical health second, in my opinion, you cannot show up with the energy that you want to show up with to be there and present and happy for your kids. That's where you're going to be less, you're going to be more impatient. You're going to probably snap more. You're probably going to feel more anxious, more depressed, because in the pursuit of doing everything for everyone else and completely negating yourself, there's no way you can show up as your best self. And your kids are watching what you do, and they will do as you do, not as you say.
Yeah, it's so true. It's that we don't it's not the lack of energy is sometimes. It's not necessarily the motivation that is lacking. It's the boundaries that are lacking to help us establish these healthy habits, feel more connected, like confident, all of these different pieces. It's not because we aren't motivated. It's not because we don't want to do it. It's not because we're just too exhausted, although that sometimes is the case. But it's that we just don't know where to say no, where to say yes. Because I always feel like, and I'd love your take on this, I always feel like a boundary can be a yes too, right? Like it doesn't always have to be a big scary no that people are like terrified to start saying no to people. And a boundary can be a yes, but it has to be a yes to something that is going to really fill you up if you want to get the benefit of it.
Absolutely. And so it's literally just looking at it like, if I have this amount of time in the day and this amount of energy in the day, what part of that pie am I giving to myself? Of course, as a mom, you're gonna have way less of the pie for yourself. That's just the reality, right? So time-wise, what's really interesting and when you become a mom is you might not have as much flexibility in the time. Now, I would argue that we can build some of that in, and I work with clients on how to do that. What's easier to attack actually before we look at, oh my gosh, I need to carve out an hour a day. No, you do not, by the way. It could be 10 minutes. What's easier to actually look at in terms of our healthy habits, our mindset, filling our own cup, feeling vibrant. If you can't manipulate the time as much, you can absolutely manipulate the energy. So when you say boundaries, yeah, part of that is like, maybe I need to look at stepping back so my partner can step up so I can take the 20 minutes, walk that I need for my own mental health. Maybe I need to spend less energy caring what other people think about how I'm mothering to preserve some of that energy to have the energy to, I don't know, feed my physical health or actually preserve my mental health. So it's a big soup, but I think even as moms, we look at the actual timestamp and we think, oh, we don't have time. You don't need a lot of time. Actually, what's going to feed your what I call vibrancy, which is your authentic confidence and your mental and physical health, what's going to actually make a bigger impact is where are you spending your energy?
Yeah. You're speaking my language because my role in the work that I do outside of this podcast is time and energy management. It's literally what I teach people all the time. And you're absolutely right in that you don't need to carve out an extra hour. That's not the thing that's stopping you from having this vibrancy that you're looking for. There's a lot of other factors and the way that you show up and how you ask for help. That's all included as well. So it's not all about the 24 hours on the clock. So thank you for bringing that to light. One thing I want to check before we get too much further in the conversation, just so that the listeners are all on the same page, when we are using the term healthy habits, what does that mean to you?
So you're going to have the classic, so I'm working a lot with clients who around exercise, the way they fuel their body, right? So not specifically like prescriptive nutrition, but just like their habits around eating, their habits around movement, their habits around sleep. Okay. So those are the physical habits that are pretty obvious, but it's more holistic than that because it's also mindset, right? So when I say healthy habits, I don't just mean sleep, exercise, nutrition. I also mean energy, like exactly what you said. I also mean like, how am I looking at myself? How am I, you know, um, draining my energy by saying yes to everybody else but myself? So like it has to be a bit of like an overlap. So healthy habits go beyond the physical. It's also what are the mindset and habit shifts that are going to help my mental health, not just my physical health. So that's what I mean by habits. But of course, there's going to be the classics. I have a lot of clients that come and it's like, I know I need to work out. I know I need to move my body. I just can't fit it in. That's pretty linear. But in order to do that, we have to look at more broadly at like the kind of holistic picture of where you're spending your time and really more importantly your energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we do that, we're really able, especially working with a coach like you who can give us that full picture, who can be there to be that sort of outside perspective, looking and listening and saying, okay, yes, and here's how we do it. Here's how we start. Because you're not going to flip a switch and achieve these healthy habits. You're not going to flip a switch and be creative boundaries, right? It does take work. It does
Yeah.
take strategy. But also one of the things, at least that I find when people come and work with me, they're feeling like it's selfish to take the time to spend the money to hire someone to do this. What do you say to that like mindset? Like it's selfish to do.
Oh my gosh, if there was one thing I could like switch, it's the societal pressure on moms. Like, and I've been there and I burnt out with it. So it is the least selfish thing you can do is pouring into your own health and energy. Of course, there's a line. Of course, you're not going to leave your kids and never go to their sports games because you're competing in bodybuilding and you're working out 3 hours a day. Like, of course not. But there is a other end of the spectrum where I know so many moms that have completely let go of their own health and happiness because they think to be a good mom is to be 150% there just for the kid. And it goes back to what we just said at the beginning. Your kids read your energy. I know this. My son's ADHD with high anxiety. When I'm anxious, he's anxious. I don't have to say a word, he can read it. Your kids from a very young age will read your energy. So, what energy are you bringing into the home? Are you anxious? Are you frustrated? Are you overtired? Not only will they read the energy, it will impact your reactions, your patience with them, right? I know when I'm having like put too much on my plate or haven't done my exercise or my mindfulness or the things that I know that keep my patience, I'm going to snap way quicker with my kids. So it's about what do you need? And you, for Jill, it's going to be different than Susie, which is going to be different than Betty, right? Very different. That's why I think coaching is so important because you can't go on the internet and get the perfect 5-week plan. It doesn't work. It's ultimately, what do you need for you to show up in your most vibrant, so I like to call it vibrant, but whatever, in your best self to be able to give your best to your kids. If you completely left yourself off the table, I'm sorry, I don't know anyone who's able to show up the best in their best energy for their kids if they have not figured out a way to feed their own soul. And I would argue also physical health. I mean, you could energetically be there, but if we negate our own physical health, our kids are also watching, how should I treat myself?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And if we can give them this example of someone who does prioritize their health, their happiness, their vibrancy, then we're going to end up with kids who do that too. And what a
Yes.
beautiful gift to give them in their
Yes.
younger years when we're just discovering it in our 30s and 40s, right? Man.
Yes.
Okay. So then the question becomes, if we know this, like a lot of listeners are probably like, yeah, I hear this, I've heard this, I know this. Why am I not doing it? Like, talk to us about the real issue behind like why we can't just do it.
Okay. This is like my bailiwick, right? This is like where I love taking from knowledge to action because everybody knows they should work out, they should eat well, they should prioritize their sleep, they should, lower their alcohol intake. It's like, yeah, thanks, tips, thanks. My doctor, my vegan CrossFitting neighbor has told me this. Like, I know why can't I do it?
Yeah.
This is where the habit change science comes in. So, what I would say first off is are your goals the right goals? And this is why I know we were talking before the podcast about I created a 90-minute strategy session just for this because I was noticing that so many women have created health goals out of a place of shame, out of a place of kind of societal BS. So a shame-based health goal would be like, I need to lose 15 pounds. I should. And we've created our health goals often around image. This is like if I could change one thing on the planet like this, it would be I wish we could stop looking at health and healthy habits from a place of the way we look. This is why this is a problem. You're a busy mom, right?
Hmm.
You got a to-do list at the length of your arm. Most of us, not all of us, but a lot of us are working too. It's a lot more, uncommon to have a single income household nowadays. So most of the people I know, they're working, they're momming, they're trying to be everything for everyone. We've set ourselves up in this massively high standard, especially because we're following social media in the top 1% of everything and pressure, 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 shame, 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 guilt, guilt, guilt. Now we have a health habit that we know we should do. I know I should work out. I know I should be active. I know I should eat well. We've created this goal out of shame and lack. And so when we're already exhausted and tired and we have an entire to-do list and we've got to get the kids here and there in sports, what do you think is the first thing that falls off the list? The thing that's based in shame.
Yeah.
So if there's like one message today, because there's so much habit change science I could talk about it, it's like through my program, obviously I'm able to teach people this. If you could do one thing, it's stop looking at exercise, sleep, and nutrition because you're trying to change your body so that you will love yourself or so that you will become more attractive. And if you start looking at it like I'm doing this because I love myself, then you're going to start sticking to your health habits. If you start looking at the 5-minute walk means something when it's attached to your mental health because you know it's going to make you feel better. The 5-minute walk means nothing if you're trying to lose weight, so you won't do it. And then it's an all or none approach because my goal is to lose weight, which means I must go and do a 45-minute CrossFit class 3 times a week, and I've got to like restrict myself in my diet and whatever. Shame, 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 shame drops off the list. Shame, 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 shame. Reframe your health goals around how you want to feel every day. This is what I do in my 90-minute session. So it's like, if I want to feel more calm for my kids, if I want to feel more energetic, and if I want to feel more confident, what are some little habit shifts that I can instill every day, for the most part, that's going to make me feel that? All of a sudden, that 10-minute walk checks those boxes. I did the 10-minute walk even though I didn't feel like it. It gave me the endorphins, right? I got some sunlight and some nature. I felt proud of myself for getting my shoes on and going out even though I didn't necessarily want to. I'm more calm because of it. All of a sudden, check, check, check. I feel more confident because I showed up for myself. I feel more energetic because I did something outside and it gave me energy. And then your brain needs the small wins to continue on a habit. And the cool thing with that is that if you do that, you can slowly build habits from there. There's nothing stopping you from then being like, oh, maybe I can try a Pilates class. Oh, maybe I can actually start weight training. Cool, 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 cool. But if you start like the New Year's resolution, which is why 80% fail, and say, it's all or none because I need to change who I am, no wonder we stick to it for 3 weeks and it drops off. So basically, the message here is do the healthy habits because it's based in wanting to feel good today, which means every tiny little bit counts. The best of your ability every day counts, and then let it build from there. So it's okay to have a longer term goal of weight loss. It's not my favorite. It's okay. But if that is the only reason you're doing it, it's never going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that permission. And you're absolutely right when you say going balls to the walls and trying to make it the best, the most perfect habit that you're going to never miss, and it has to be at a certain level to your own, expectation. That is a recipe for failure. And if we can start to realize that even the small bits count and that they're building the foundation and helping you build that confidence that you need to then get to the level you want to get to eventually, that's hugely permissive. And I want to also make sure that people heard you say that the important thing is to establish the habit because you love yourself, not because you want to love yourself. Like loving yourself is not the goal, it's the reason. So thank you for
Yes.
that.
And sometimes you need coaches like you and me to help pull that out of you. It's funny because I never planned to be a confidence coach. Like it was always wellness. And what I realized was I had to actually start coaching women to increase their own level of self-worth and confidence first. Because when you can coach that a little bit and open their eyes a little bit to the fact that they're already enough now, they're more likely to show up for themselves
Mhm.
because they're enough. Like you're going to show up for yourself if you already think you're enough. You're not going to show up for yourself if you're trying to change who you are and put happiness on some long-term shame-based goal that may or may not happen. And so it is really, really important. And it is about managing expectations too, right? And as moms, that's hard to do, especially those of us who are high achieving type A's, which are a lot of my clients, right? It sometimes is about managing our expectations and being okay that we're in a different season and not expecting to be in that 25-year-old 3 gym workouts a week season. It's like, okay, this is the season. I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? I'm not going to completely negate my health. I am going to do whatever I can, but I just see too many moms going completely all or none. Because if I can't do this, and if I can't be this, and if I can't look like this, then what's the point? And it's so sad because there's so much benefit to just pouring in a little bit into your own health, not only to model it to your kids, but in terms of the way you feel. Let's not even worry about the way you look. I know this is going to change the way you look, but just like just having that increased energy, pride, confidence, and like vibrancy because you did the 10 minutes even though you didn't want to, like that goes a long way. And then you can build the bricks from there. It's amazing what you can do when you can just get over that first hump.
Right. Absolutely. And sometimes you need a little bit of a hand holding to get there. And which is why I
Yeah.
love this 90-minute session that you've got, because it's like if someone isn't ready or able to commit to the 3-month program, they can still get a little bit of the Katie magic in the beginning to help them like, where do I start? Like, am I looking at the right goal? Like you had said earlier, what are the first few little steps that I need to do? Because you're not going to give them 10, 12, 15 steps. You're going to give them, presumably, like 2 or 3. Like, here are the places you start and get good at these and then build the next one,
Yes.
right? Because once a
Yes.
habit becomes subconscious, it's not even an action. This is at least how I understand it. If you're thinking about your new habit, if you're working on your new habit, it's in your conscious mind. It is something that takes energy. But once it becomes a habit, it kind of drops into that subconscious. You're not thinking about doing it all the time, which then frees up that space that you were using in your conscious mind for a new habit until that one
Yeah.
becomes a habit. And then that's
Exactly.
it's like one
Yes.
at a time, people.
Yes, and this is my analogy on like habit change science that I give in like my 1 minute analogy. Your brain, the neurons that fire together wire together. If you're sedentary, your brain's quite happy being there and it wants to keep you comfortable. That's what it's doing. So anyone who's waiting for motivation or energy to start, for example, exercising, you will wait forever. It's not showing up. Motivation doesn't show up, energy doesn't show up. You get it when you start. So the actual issue is if you read Atomic Habits or if you've heard of that book, it's bang on. It's just the brain. You have to learn how to hack your brain to get the proverbial shoes on. I don't care if the shoes are on for 2 minutes. The hardest part for most people is their brain is going to tell them all the different excuses of why they shouldn't get the shoes on. You don't have time. You shouldn't do this. You da, 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 da. That's actually just your brain trying to stay comfortable. So when you learn to create realistic next steps one by one. And even just like, what's the giggle test? You pass the giggle test. What's one thing that makes me giggle because it's so easy in terms of exercise, for example? Do that for a week. It has to pass the giggle test. It has to be so easy that your brain is like, well, I guess that's so easy. Do that for a week. All of a sudden your brain's like, oh, that's so bad. And then you add from there. But if you've created that goal as like 0 or 45 minute CrossFit, no wonder the 5 million excuses are going to come up. So as you hit the nail on the head, your brain is working against you. You find the one or maximum two small little changes. That's what I help people do is identify those for the right reasons, rooted in the right way, and watch your life explode from there. It's actually pretty amazing when you can start that habit, you create those neural pathways, and then you can grow it from there. The problem is people just go like this, New Year's resolution, and then they crash, and then they feel like crap about themselves.
Yep. And then it's a cycle. And
And then
meanwhile,
it's a cycle.
all it takes is make an embarrassingly small goal.
Embarrassingly small. It needs to pass the giggle test.
I love
It
that.
needs to be embarrassingly small because then you can build from there.
Yeah. Oh, Katie,
Yeah.
this is great. If someone is listening and wondering, and like, how can I keep learning from this wonderful woman? And where do I go to sign up for these 90-minute strategy sessions? Like, where are we sending them? How are they connecting with you?
So the best thing to do would be go to my website, healthyconfidentyou.com, and you can see my coaching. I also do a lot of public speaking and workshops in workplaces. So, hey, if you got a workplace budget, bring me in and you don't have to pay for it. But I also gives a link to how to contact me. It links to all my socials on Instagram. I'm at healthyconfident_you. But if you go to healthyconfidentyou.com, you'll see all the things and then you connect with me. And happy to give your listeners a 20% discount on the 90-minute strategy session if they want to really get clear on their goals and their next steps and their actions and learn a little bit of the habit change science that'll help carry them forward, to do just the little things that can kind of get them moving.
Yeah, thank you. That's so valuable. And listeners, like, please take her up on this because this doesn't just like this gift just fell in your lap. So let her know that you heard about her here on the Grow Like a Mother podcast. Go
Yes.
get connected with Katie and take advantage of the strategy session to sort of put that pep in your step. It's that kickstart, it's that kick in the butt almost in a very loving way. Like a gentle butt smacking almost, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Like the
And just
velvet hammer, like the loving accountability, right? We
yes.
need that sometimes. Yeah.
I know I need that. I think we all need that at certain points in time. So if you're feeling that, that is your next step. So
Yeah.
go and reach out to Katie. And I mean, just thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom with us today. It's been a real pleasure being able to chat with you and learn a little bit about the science of habits and the reasons around boundaries that we're not doing what we should be doing. Although I remove that should be doing.
Yeah,
It's what we
exactly.
want to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're worth it and you absolutely can change your life. It's just sometimes more simple than you even thought. We're just overwhelming ourselves. And sometimes that 90-minute strategy session, it's like, oh, why have I been overcomplicating this? It's actually quite a lot more simple than I ever thought. I've just been putting too much pressure.
Yeah.
Moms are good at that. Yeah.
We're super good at that.
We're good at
Absolutely.
pressuring ourselves. Yeah. Doesn't have to be like that.
Amazing. Well, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. And for all the listeners who are still with us, until next week, keep on growing like a mother.